Hello, hello. Testing, testing. Mic check. Bitch, getting a 30. That's not it. Oh, I mean, eaten. War speech in 24 seconds. Yo, yo, yo. Just gonna wait for a bit more. Maybe 3 viewers, and I'll get started. Thanks for coming. Probably won't have a lot of views right now because it's like during the day. Everyone's working except for me. I can also just do it and then repost the VOD on YouTube. First time doing a VOD review, so VOD review live. So we'll see how that goes. Do 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 do. Hey, Ricky. Thanks for being my only viewer right now. When I said Ricky, my iPhone thought I said, "Hey Siri." Yeah, everyone's at work right now. All right, let's get started. It's fine. I get X and got Okay. So, let's see. Okay, stream's good. All right, let's do this. Try using this annotating tool as well. Oh, it works. Okay, sweet. Okay, so it's my first time doing a VOD review live. So we'll see how this goes. If it's good, I will keep doing them. Probably do it at a later time when there's more people online and not doing work. But I'll also repost this VOD on YouTube so people can watch if they want, or if they don't, who cares? Don't really matter. I mean, I'm gonna do this mostly for myself, and maybe we can see how if it helps the company or helps other people, that is fine as well. So let's get started. So this is the Monarchs Bluff defense war, and this team was fairly good. I'd say it's like a 50-50. So top 25 people were very good from Hanaconda and Secrets. Very solid purple roster. And then I had bottom 25. I think it was like from a Chinese company, and they were okay. The split, if I'm not wrong, is I think like 25 of them went between B and A, and then another 25 was between B and C. So let's get started. So right off the rip, we have 10 people going to A, and we see 10 to 15, probably 15 people coming to A, straight rushing to A. Not stopping at all. So let's stop right here and see who we see in this offense to A. Trying to find a good timing so I can see the names of people. Okay, right side. It's kind of hard. Hold on, let me back up a little bit. I see 10, 15 going A. 15 A. Trying to see the names a little better. All right, let's just stop here for now. Okay, so right off the rip, we see Baboon. We see this guy. I think that's Czech. Yeah, that's Czech. AK Bay, Atrax, and then there was like Juice XL right here. So just from this composition alone, we know that right off the rip that A side definitely has a very strong roster coming to A. So I'm guessing the split is something like 15A rests between like B and C. But the strong squad was definitely coming to A. So 15 very strong players from Secrets and Hanaconda. What this tells you is that they definitely want to pull attention away from B and C and go for A first. And this kind of, I mean, having been in the war, we definitely know that A point was definitely their prime objective because, you know, I'll get into why that is soon, but just by this, we know that they sent 15 to A, and it was very strong offense. So let's keep playing this VOD. Okay. So yeah, so you see Wombat God, you see Legendary Khan, very good healer. Right side. I overextended here, and I shouldn't have. I had flamethrower on. I should have taken flamethrower off, but yeah, they were very aggressive, and I overextended, so I died right off the rip. Definitely my fault. So we respawn, it's fine. Usually like deaths are fairly fast in the beginning, so it doesn't really matter. So let's see right here. Let's stop right here. You see major aggression straight on to the point. And and then you see at least 5 people here, right? 5 people here. So they have one full squad, which based on the roster is, we can see very clearly that Group 8, which included Juice SL, Legendary Khan, Implosive, very strong purple players. They were straight to the backline. So that's definitely the dive team. And then you see, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so there's actually 20 or 25 straight to A. So very aggressive split right off the rip. What you usually see when attacking teams is usually see like 10 to C, 30 to B, and then 10 to A. And then after that, they start pulling people to different points. But straight off the rip, they sent 20 to 25 onto A. So they really want this bad. And they sent their strongest to A. So that's just something to keep note of. Look at point, look at the right side of point. Okay. So they play around the point, which is really smart, dipping their toes. They are clumping quite a bit, so outnumbered on A. If we had yeah, so you can see very aggressive push. We're definitely outnumbered here. And Sturf responded fairly fast, and we got people back pretty quickly. But yeah, super aggressive push. I was definitely pretty surprised by this one. They did a good job in the initial aggression. So yeah, I say here that we are very outnumbered, and it is true. We were very outnumbered. There was 20 to 25 here. And yeah, you can see up top that. Hold on, I'm trying to learn how to use this annotating tool. Okay, so you can see right here that A definitely has major aggression, right? Like ticked up to almost 80, 90%. Uh, C wasn't being touched, but this is going to change soon. Just wait. It's going to change soon. B has a little bit of people here. So they're stacking point a little bit, but that's probably going to be a mistake. Oh, see, exactly. That's a mistake there because we had our rotations. Grab rolls were landing on the point, and yeah, they kind of just die here. I think one mistake that a lot of offense teams make is that they get too eager to stand on the point, um, especially when there's an enemy force that is still alive. So what I mean by that is you stack on point too quick. It's really easy to clump, especially with the meta right now where it's like super heavy ice shower Gravwell. So it's super easy to just clump up and just explode, which as you can see happens here. Uh, so what you want to do usually before you stack point is make sure that the enemy forces are dead. So while they're respawning, and I mean, if you have the time and if you have the patience, you actually want to wipe them again, and then you stack on point because it's so easy to just clump up and you just explode. Is this versus BWC? No, it's against a company called Musket Wolves Co. But it was like 25 people from Hanacondas and Secrets, and then the bottom 25 were a Chinese company, and we haven't really played with any of those guys before. Okay, so let's keep on. So I want to kind of just talk about what my role in actually, I want to talk about this in a second too, but I want to talk about my role in this war on A. So I'm running Firestaff Ice Gauntlet. My role is really just know when to use my Fireball and Refreshing Pillar of Fire when there are clumps that are under 50% health. Um, this is, it's both pretty easy to do and both kind of hard to do because if you use your Pillar of Fire too early, you're going to be hitting full health targets, which it gets healed up immediately. But if I use it at the right time, like when enemies are under 50% health, it is I'm going to be like doing massive damage, and our bruisers are going to be able to kind of minimize and then like confirm those kills really easily. But it's really easy to just stat pad with this class because if you hit it too early, you're just going to be enemies are just going to full heal back up to the top. But if you hit at the right time, you can confirm a lot of kills. So that's kind of my job. And of course, I'm laying down CC. I'm laying down ice showers on clumps so they can't get out of those clumps. So at all times, I'm paying attention to where these clumps are, and I'm saving my cooldowns on those clumps. Right side, front right, eight, front right, eight. Oh, also, I'm calling out where those clumps are to my group. So we're all in our individual chats. It's like outside of the main Discord comms, I'm also in a 5-man chat with my group. So I'm calling out those clumps to those guys. All right, so as you can see, right now the situation is that we had massive rotations to A, which actually kind of ends up becoming a detriment to us because you'll see that we'll lose C pretty soon because we just a lot of people from B just popped haste spots to A, and they don't have haste spots right now to rotate to C. And now like 30 to 40 people are on on B, trying to defend it. And as you can see right here that C is ticking up right here, and we have like 10 to 15 rotating A right now. I remember Darius at this point said like we lost it because we over rotated. So first we over rotated to A, even though the fight was kind of winning, and then we used haste spots to go to B. So that means that we don't have haste spots to C. Sorry. So we lost C like within 3 minutes, which is pretty unacceptable. I think what happened is I don't have a VOD for the C point, and I don't really know exactly what happened, but I'm gonna predict that the 5 people that are on C point, they stayed on C, but then they called maybe for reinforcements, and reinforcements couldn't come soon enough because people either spawned on B or on A, and they didn't spawn on C. They couldn't spawn on C because they were not dead. And then the people that had haste spots, they just used it to rotate to B, and they don't have it. So we lost C immediately. How they could do better here is that, well, first of all, you don't over rotate to A, right? A was actually kind of winning. So if we go back a little bit, yeah. So looking at this fight, right? A was 100% winning. So I think people probably saw this. They saw that A was taking up to like 80%. And so they thought, okay, shit, we gotta like rotate, right? But then A was actually already winning. And so I think I count at least maybe 20 here, and then maybe like 30 total at A right now. So we definitely over rotated to A. And so, people pop their haste spots, they're on cooldown. They see that B is ticking, so they like start running back to B, and then C only has maybe 5 people there, and so C was lost like immediately. So tips to kind of groups and shot callers is pay attention to how many people are still alive after you win a point, and don't over rotate. And so this is also a lesson on like not trying to go to a point that you're not needed at. I know that in wars it's pretty easy to feel like you want to be where the action is, and B is definitely where the action is. So people love going to B, and they want to like, sorry to say it out loud, but they want a stat pad, right? So they want to stay on B, they want to get the stats, and they don't listen to the main shot caller. So, you got to listen to your main shot caller. If you don't, this is what happens. You lose C within 3 minutes, which is not good. I don't recall us losing C that early ever before, so this was definitely a big mistake, and we gotta fix that. So I went to B. I should be going back to A soon because we were called to go back to A. Yeah, go back to A right now. So this is a fairly standard neutral fight. I see 15 on A here. Nothing much to talk about here. It's just like a fight. So, oh yeah, one thing I want to mention is that I think Purple did a pretty good job on playing on the sidelines and not clumping up. So, again, I mentioned before, if you just joined the stream, that we saw a dive team, a 5-man dive team on the backlines. And I think this is where most of them are right now. And then you see the other 10, 5 to 10 that are kind of just like playing on here. And then you see like healers that are here just casting. I think they did a pretty good job on not like clumping up together, and they're just playing around the edge of the point, which is really what you want to do when you're in a fight like this. So good job on the Purple's part on not clumping up.
Yo, front of it.
But yeah, this
look in front of it.
well, here they clump up and they just die. Or maybe not.
Middle.
One thing I would say on our side that we could have done better is that I didn't notice a lot of grab wells on A point for our side, for the defense side. So a lot of times there were a lot of clumps, but they weren't being grab welled. And my role as like a fire staff mage really depends on these self clumps. So yeah, I don't know. I think maybe we need a bit more on our side. Just a side note. Like as you see here, these clumps die immediately.
He's good.
Oblivions on the ground. Yeah, fairly standard neutral fight here. They're being pushed back. So at this point, Sturf probably would be calling those B teams back to B. So there's definitely like B main squads at A, but they'll be called back soon.
I think some of you guys can move to B. Or sorry.
And I want to talk about kind of like what you do in these situations. So right now, teams are being pushed back, right? One mistake that a lot of teams do is that they get over aggressive at a one fight. So you see a lot of people like pushing way up. That's actually a pretty big mistake, because when you push up too far, you might not notice people that are kind of in the forest trying to come back in. So like outside the frame, you might see enemies, attackers like coming in through the forest. So you don't want to push up too far here.
And yes, I know I'm using flamethrower here. I swap off it pretty quick as I realize it's just useless. Make sure you get your haste potions. Yeah, fairly standard neutral fight. I think I start telling people to like pull back because there's no point fighting here. Yeah, I start calling back. And then they also start coming back. And Impulsive, Hold 4, Juice SL, as you can see on the screen right now. Those are the backline dive teams. Thank you, thank you. I noticed a ton of pressure from these guys. They did a really good job, honestly. Again, they're playing around the point, making it hard to clump. Very good. Yeah, I think Purple did an incredibly good job in like keeping pressure up as well as not clumping up, especially playing around the point. They definitely have a good shot caller, telling people not to clump. Okay, let's skip for a little bit. Just respawn. Just a lot of neutral fights right now. Not a lot to talk about. Okay, let's talk about this real quick. So you can see this again, the dive team, the 5 to 10 people that I was talking about. Their positioning is really good. They're playing near kind of our backline. And let's talk about backline real quick. And I'm talking in the perspective of like on the defense side. When you're attacking, it's incredibly important to occupy the enemy backline. It's not so much that, you know, okay, let's talk about this in the perspective of both the attacker and the defense. When you're a defense, the backline is not so much a place where you sit. It's more of a pressure release valve. I've talked about this with our company members before, which is you want to have backline clean so that when you're being pressured, and when I say you, I mean like casters and mages and whatnot, when you're being pressured, you want to have a safer place to go to. If the enemy backline, if the enemy divers are on your backline, you don't have a safe space to go to, and that makes it really hard to kind of, you know, reset your cooldowns, reset your pot cooldowns. And so when you have, and when you're an attacker, you really want to pressure that backline because that is where the safe space of the enemy defense team goes, and being there gives them so much pressure to basically like to reset. So you're preventing resets. So I noticed incredible amounts of pressure here as a defense, and they did a good job. And I think I swap off flamethrower very soon because flamethrower is useless when there's a lot of enemy pressure. Front of it. On
it's really good when like you're just stopping the enemy team on defense, but against a good squad like this, flamethrower is useless. Okay, so yeah, basic neutral fight. I see 20 of us on A.
Your haste spots if you need to.
I think Sturf's gonna be calling people back now to B. Okay, yeah, you see people going back to B now. Okay, so in a situation like this, there's only 5 people on A, like only 5 attackers on A. We need to call that out to our main shot caller so that they can pull people back, right? You don't want to over-rotate. So basically, like if B is being heavily pressured by like a full squad, 30 to 40 people, then you don't want like 10 to 15 on A on defense.
Tank coming A.
Yeah, this juice guy was giving me a lot of problems. He's good. He's really good.
Shit, this guy
But I still survived, which is kind of amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, standard neutral fight here. We win this one fairly easily. Not much to talk about. One thing I noticed that they do a lot is they stack point, like a lot. For no reason. Like, as an attacker, you don't want to stack point too early, because you're just going to get clumped up. Especially with how strong Ice Shower and Grab Wall is right now. Stacking point too early is just a death sentence. You don't want to fight him. You don't want to fight him. Let's just skip forward. Okay, so they're playing around the point, which is good.
they're playing extremely spread, which I think was what I really liked about their offense. When you're playing so spread, it's really hard for gravels and ice showers to have an impact. And they were keeping pressure up on all sides of the point. Lots of good pressure. Let's skip forward. Again, they're stacking point. Again, I think this is probably a call to stack point because we were down on numbers. But again, the downside to stacking point this early is you can see those clumps are just gonna die. Yeah, so you see these like clumps just obliterated. Really, what you want to do as an attacker when you're when you're main, like when you're a shot caller, when to stack point is one. Yeah, let's like write this down. When to stack point, right? One is you wipe the defense once for the first time. So you wipe the defense for the first time, right? This then, when you wipe the defense for the first time, this puts respawns. So this is at 20 minutes. This is around maybe like 20 to 30 seconds respawn. Sorry, I have to like write this. So this puts defense at 20 to 30 second respawn. This gives you more time to kind of wipe the remaining people that are alive. And then when defense respawns in 20-30 seconds, you got to position your army around the respawn point. So that's around here, that's around here, that's around here, that's around here. And then you wipe them again. Wipe one more time. Like when you go to the toilet, you got to wipe again. That's when you stack point. So that's what makes offense so hard, right? It's so hard to cap a point because you have to win 2 fights in a row. Because if you don't, if you only wipe them once and you stack point, as soon as number 2 happens, as soon as they respawn again on defense, they're just gonna counter wipe you. So, I think that's kind of self-explanatory. You have to win the offense twice. You have to win the wipes twice in order to win. Because if you don't, you're just gonna get clumped up and you're gonna die. So I think their biggest mistake here was they went on the point way too early, and we clearly win this fight here. Because then all our rotations are here, we're respawning. Yeah, it was a bit of a premature one. So, like, when you look at the progress bar up top, like for A, it looked very impressive because they were at 80%. And then the shot caller was probably like, stack A, like, we're gonna win this. But really, it's not much, like, because rotations are gonna come from the defense side, and respawns are gonna come. So it's not a one fight. Like, they shouldn't have stacked like that early. You gotta notice, like, when, as an attacker, you gotta be incredibly aware of how much of defense is alive, as well as what the respawn timers are. So I'm not sure if many people know this, but attacker and defense spawn times are the same. So if I'm defense and I died and there's 10 seconds left, that means that attackers also will respawn in 10 seconds. So that's how you know when to, like, play aggro and when to play defensive, matching those respawn timers.
15A, 15A.
So again, A pressure is coming back up again because their shot caller probably said, let's respawn A because the progress bar was high, and now this fight's gonna lose for A attackers because we still have numbers. But again, they keep up really strong pressure here, especially on the backline. And you see the same people playing the backline, and they're all very skilled.
There's like 10 on the backline today. Oh,
yeah, so you see like 20 to 25 people stacking A, and they're kind of winning the fight. And they're very spread. Again, like, I think Purple did an incredibly good job on not clumping. which is pretty hard on attack. They were playing very spread, and they played a lot in the forest, which you don't see like super often. But again, we clean it up because we just probably have more fireballs. Oh, and one thing I want to talk about is we lost C, but that may have been a good thing because that means that our attention is just spread between A and B, and that makes rotations way easier than spreading attention between A, B, and C. But I think a strong team shouldn't have lost C in the beginning at
A's
all.
incoming.
So I'm still kind of disappointed at that part. And I want to check like a C side VOD on how we lost C so early, but I had talked about it earlier that we over-rotated A, and then they were out of A spots and out of respawn, so they couldn't go to C. That's probably what happened. But yeah, we've never lost C so early before, and I'm kind of sad about that. So if you just tuned in or you're just watching, this VOD review is not really on my own gameplay. It's more on like the rotations and how attack and defense are interacting with each other. But to reiterate, like my role is to identify clumps and then shoot like pillar fire and empowering fireball on them, and knowing when to do that, because the difference between stat padding and when you're doing good damage is like useful damage is very slim. And at this part of the point, I just remember like I kept trying to fight for my own survival because the pressure on me was so strong. And you had like Demon and Juice SL and Implosive all on me at like
Right side, back,
a long time.
right.
So you'll see me shooting like heavy attacks into these clumps. The reason why I'm doing that is that when you do a heavy attack with the fire staff and you hit, you get like a 2-second or 1.5 second cooldown reduction. So I'm trying to keep my fire staff
Right side, right side, right side, right side.
cooldowns as low as possible. So I have those abilities on hand. And I'm always identifying those clumps and I'm calling those clumps out to my team so that we can focus them. Yeah, just a fairly basic neutral fight. Again, purple is playing a lot on the point, which makes it really easy to just clump them and kill. But their healers are playing around the point, which is, again, where you want it to be. I keep saying this again, but like, purple's played a really good job on like knowing where to position, which is like around the point and around the back of our side, which keeps the pressure up quite a lot. Alright, I'm just gonna skip healers. It's just neutral fighting. Okay, so we see about 20 coming up. Oh, you see rotations from B, so they're preparing for like a major offensive here. People on the
15 on
point.
A, 15 on A.
I'm calling out in game 15 on A, which is more like 20 to 25. Again, they're pressuring me extremely hard. And not me specifically, but they're pushing back on extremely hard, which is really what you want to do as an attacker. So this is like 15 minutes left, right, on the game. Respawns are 30 seconds. This is when it gets really punishing to die, both on attack and defense. Because when you die like at 28 minutes of like 2 minutes into the war, your respawn timer is like max 5 seconds. But at around the middle of the match, which is 15 minutes left, respawns at 30 seconds. So if you die here, it's much more punishing. And this is usually when attackers start getting points, because defense respawns are starting to rack up. Okay, so I'm not really sure. Okay, so we see that attackers are pulling to... Maybe not. I thought I was seeing rotations to B. Yeah, it's just like a big stalemate fight here. There's really not much to talk about. We're definitely doing a better job at keeping our backline cleaner. And you start to see like rotations to A, maybe one more group. if I was attacker right now, I would be pulling my fight more towards the backline. Right now, backline's pretty free for on our side.
Let's go this guy. Let's go this guy.
I didn't realize how twitchy I play. Holy crap. It's kind of hard to observe. So maybe there's like 20 here. See some point stacking. Our horn was just blown.
So many people back.
At this point, I'm guessing like attacker side is calling more people to A because they have it at half now. They're still playing around point, which is good. As I said before, like when you're an attacker, you have to win 2 fights. And right now, it's like pretty equal split. Yeah, they're definitely calling more people into A now, which isn't expected. But that also means that more people are becoming from our side to B, or from B to A. Okay, yeah, lots more people coming on offense. Lots more pressure on the backline now from offense. Again, if you're a diver team on the offense, your priority are the casters and the healers. If you don't kill those people, they're just going to be farming free damage and like free heals on you. And I think they did a pretty good job here. But yeah, it's just like a massive neutral fight. It's pretty messy at the moment. I'm trying to like think of something useful to say, but I don't really have much to say. It's just a messy fight.
If you need to, play a little to the side or front. If you need to play a little left. It's fine that they have their back line.
I mean, in these neutral fights, really, all you can do is just, as an attacker, there's really, the only thing you can do is you open your scoreboard and you sort by like top heals and top kind of damage on the enemy side, identify who those people are, and just like hard focus them. Especially healers.
They're stacking A.
Okay, so they're stacking A at this point. And then, as a defense, this is when you hold your grab wells and just like throw that shit out. They're just gonna die. And of course, if you have Void Gauntlets, you're putting Oblivion down to make sure that it gets healed back up. Yeah, massive forces on A now. It's ticking up.
AoE's on point. AoE's on point.
People are gonna start feeling like, oh, stack point, stack point. I'm offensive when I say that. Yeah, you can see they're stacking point. But now's not a good time, because this is when enemy rotations or defense rotations are coming in, and they're just gonna fucking pump that shit. They're gonna throw grab wells, they're gonna throw oblivions. Attacker's just gonna die. And see, like, point is clean now. Like, point is clear now, because we just wiped them because they were very eager to get on point. Again, this goes back to what I was saying. Like, you gotta wipe. If you're attacker, you gotta wipe enemy, the defense side twice before it's even okay to stack point. When you want to stack point is when the defense is respawning and when they're undernumbered. You never want to stack. Well, not never, but most of the time you don't want to stack point when
10 on A, 10
defense
on A,
has numbers,
15 on A.
unless it's like the last 2%. Then it's like it doesn't really matter.
AoE's on point. A.
Okay, so they're stacking point again.
AoE's on point in A.
And here I'm calling in-game, I'm calling AoE's on point, which we do. Oh, I do want to point out, like, at this point, what the enemies are doing really well. So not only are they stacking point, but they also have, like, 1 or 2 teams on the back line. So people like me and other healers, they're just being extremely pressured. So, for example, on our team, like, Take Dabs, Nick, Tina, healers, uh, being pressured fairly hard. And then, of course, me, you know, Daddy, these are the mages, being pressured pretty hard here. Doing a pretty good job. I actually think, like, right now at this point, they have more numbers than we do. But we're waiting for respawns. We should have lost A, I think, at this point, judging by the situation. Let's see, like, what they did wrong, or what they could have done better at. So they're stacking point already. Or at least we see some groups stacking point. And then we respawn. And now I think the fight is over. Yeah.
On point, on point, on point, on point. AoE's on point, AoE's on point.
And then they stacked left side of A, and then we just grab wall and everyone dies. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about this. So, I think offense did an incredibly good job on this attack, even though they lost it, but, well, they lost it, so they didn't do a great job. But one thing that did really well was, like, they were pressuring the side of the point on side point. And not only that, they were actually winning this fight. So, good job. 2, they were kind of winning the backline fight too. So they were winning that backline fight. So they did a good job there. Their mistake was, again, they stacked on point too early. And then we wiped them. So it's kind of unfortunate. Yeah, even though I say that as a side. Gotta give credit when credit's due.
A's good now.
Yeah, so A's good now. We wiped them.
Kill those juice guy, juice 7, juice 7.
We're rotating back to B. And we see enemies all rotating to, so people that lost at the A fight, they're rotating B. So that means, like, you know, A force, A attack force is going to B. And so I kind of went too, because we might need some numbers here. And I know that A was fine, because I was communicating with my team, like, how A is doing, and I knew that there was no one there. And I kept asking our point tank how A is looking. So I'm trying to play in their backline, as I talked about earlier. I'm trying to be a nuisance in, our backline. But their dive teams and their healers are on our backline, so I gotta counter dive. See, the thing with like, focusing healers is, even if you take their attention away for, like, a little bit, a few seconds, that could mean like someone is not being healed, or they're just not paying attention on people that need to be healed. So a lot of times, even if you don't kill a healer or you don't kill a mage, it's still a good thing that you're taking pressure away from their main objective. So I'm going back to A because I got a call that there's pressure on A. So, like, the meta right now, which is going to change immediately because of the new update where the defenders now spawn on fort. The meta, like, for the past couple months for offense is you're just sending people, like, 10 to C, 10 to A, 30 to B, and you're just trying to split attention. You're just trying to, like, confuse the defense and force them to over-rotate, and that's when you win points. And that's how they won C in 3 minutes, because we over-rotated, and they, yeah. So again, I'm lobbing heavies to reset my cooldowns. And then we notice that they're rotating to B, so this is kind of like their last-ditch effort to win a 50-50.
A's completely clear. A's completely clear.
Actually, no, I take that back. They're still rotating 10 to A. So I noticed that there's people running to A, so I immediately go back to A, and they send 10 back to A.
No, just 10, just 10, just 10, just 10, just 10.
And kind of bringing up the roster, I noticed that on Purple Team, groups 7, 8, and 9 are the A point people. So these are like the strong dudes going to A. You really want to send your best to the side points because
15 out, if not more.
if you lose those side points, B is going to get a lot of pressure. And you never want to lose B. I mean, the benefits of having B is that rotations are
Left side,
much
left
easier.
side, look at left side, guys. If you have AoEs, shoot this shit.
So yeah, 4 minutes left. I mean, the fight's basically, the war is basically won at this point. It's really hard to win both A and B and then win 4. So everyone's just gonna start like stat batting. They know the fight is lost, so there's not much you can do here.
Let's use SL. It's on the right. It's on the right. It's on Tina, it's on Tina.
So knowing that that the fight is lost, I mean, like we basically won the war. I started just kind of doing my own thing. So when you're in a war, you really don't want to chase kills. But here's exactly what I'm doing. Like I'm chasing kills because I know with only 4 minutes left, there's no point in. Like we're definitely winning this. So I'm just like chasing this guy who's been chasing me the whole game, and I'm killing him. Me and Feint, and then we teabag him a little bit. It's a friendly teabag, nothing mean about it. Again, if you don't get teabagged in a war in OPR, you don't really matter. So yeah, just we know we won, so we're just kind of like doing our own thing, and then they're gonna pull all 50 to B just as a last ditch like 50v50 effort. Yeah, so I guess let's just recap what we talked about here. So first of all, offense did a pretty good job. I think at some points they probably could have won A if they played it a little better. The best chance I think they had was the fight at around like 20 minutes, which was when they wiped our defense and they had pressure on our backline as well as on. But I think they got over eager and
Use points on point. Look at it. Look at the
stacked point a little too early, and then we just rotated and we just went attack. So unfortunate there, but again, attack is really hard right now, so can't really blame them. They played it pretty well.
Look at the box. If you're amazed, look at the box.
Another thing they did real well is occupying backline. That backline pressure was really strong, and they knew kind of who to
28,
target.
28.
So good job on that. In terms of defense side, what we could have done better is, of course, like over-committed to A in the first 3 minutes, and we lost C like immediately. So that is, I think that's like everyone's fault. Probably the fault, like the people that are on C shouldn't have gone off C, so that's kind of their fault. Shot caller, I don't really blame Sturf on this one because Sturf is working with the information that he gets, right?
They're rotating.
So
B.
the information
They're
that he
rotating B.
gets from people on the C side are
Slow their rotations, guys.
the
Slow
number
their
of people
rotations.
going to C, and then the number of people like going to A, and then Sturf diverts the amount of attention to the A and C points. And I don't think he got great information. So, and then when he called for rotations to A, some people that shouldn't have gone to A went to A. So again, that's over-rotation, over-committing, and we lost C. So that's like everyone's fault, really. What we did well is also just like not being over-aggressive and like just playing a good neutral. But that's kind of given. Like a strong war squad or a mature war squad is going to win those neutrals, so that's not much to praise.
Look at the left side point. Left side of A.
So yeah, now 40 seconds left in this war. Not much going on. Everyone's just gonna stat pad. This is like a 50v50 P brawl. So overall, like, yeah, Purple did a great job in really pressuring us. I think they probably could have won A at one point. C shouldn't have been lost. That's our fault. But I would say this is one of the stronger attacks that I've experienced in Camelot so far. And I appreciate those strong offenses because they're really fun. And they give me like a reason to review these VODs because there's no point in reviewing stomps, which is most of the time. So yeah, my first time doing this VOD review stuff, so I don't know if I did a good job. But I appreciate you guys coming along and listening on this. And if you have feedback, feel free to like DM me in game or just write it down here. Let me know if you guys want me to do it again, what I could do better at, and what you want to hear more about. Thanks, Vibrosaurus. Yeah, so I think next time I might do it at a later time when there's more people, because right now it's during work hours, so there's definitely not a lot of people online. Oh, one more thing. At the end of these matches, I always like screenshot how our team is doing, and then I'm like screenshotting who's the top healers on both teams, just as like a focused, so we know who to focus. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing here. All right. Yep. Thanks for tuning in. I'll post this as a VOD on YouTube. Again, first time doing this. I don't know how well I did. I wish I probably rambled quite a little bit, but yeah, appreciate you guys coming. How are you screenshotting so fast? F12. It's a Steam screenshot, so you can set up screenshotting on Steam to just F12, and you have a screenshot immediately in a folder. Yeah. Again, thank you for coming. Appreciate it, guys.